Little Hand says it's time to rock and roll.
Bring the noise.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Etims pre-Euro podcast. My name is Desi, and I am very glad to say that so far tonight I have been joined by our resident tactician in the suburbs, Hector Bandido. Good evening, Hector.
Evening, guys.
Thanks for joining us, Hector. And the man across the water, Monty C. Championis Burns. Good evening, Monty.
Evening, Desi. Evening, lads.
Thank you very much for joining, lads. We do hope that Ralph can join us, but as per usual, we'll try to give him 5 hours notice and we might need 6. So Ralph may join, we don't know. Fingers crossed he does manage to get on. But we just thought we'd jump on. It's a few weeks now since the cup final. We're into post-season, the usual holidays and weddings, etc. for some Celtic players. And the Euros are due to start in a couple of days, and there's quite a bit of Celtic involvement. So we thought, why don't we jump on? The demand, guys, to be honest, the demand for more podcasts is the biggest shock in the season for me, to be honest. I can't believe it. Somebody actually commented.
He's incessant.
George, your listener, actually commented in the YouTube area. Great to have more podcasts being delivered, so God knows what's happening out there. So thanks very much to everyone who listens, wherever you listen. Thanks very much. Please all keep subscribing and liking and let us know in the comments. So we're here to talk about, we kind of covered the end of the season in the last podcast, but we were coming up to the cup final. So some of you who may follow us on Twitter may be aware of Hector's Highland holiday tweets. Hector, did you enjoy the cup final? Because you were looking forward to going to local hero land and hoping to find a Celtic pub, as far as I remember.
Yes, it was an interesting one because the morning my wife and I were away for a week. It was the day of the cup final, and we're up to the northwest Highlands. So as you were saying there, putting the feelers out for where we'd have a game on. So we're staying in a lovely wee village called Mora, which is only about 2 or 3 miles outside Mallaig, which is the sort of end of the line before you get the ferries to some of the islands. And I was told the name of one pub, so we gets up there, gets there at 2 o'clock, and literally parked the car, and a guy walks by with the hoops on, right? And I just went, right. Goes to the pub, and he went, just here. He goes, a pub around the corner, it's blah, 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 the name. I think it's called the Marine Bar. It's a hotel and bar. I said, what's it like? He regards punters split, and he went, probably 50-50. I was like, oh, fuck. Right, okay, 50-50. He goes, but don't worry. He goes up here, he goes, but we're all mates, we all go on, end of the match, we'll all be having a beer and all the rest of it. So anyway, goes in there, gets a beer. My wife hates football, hates it, she's away, right? And then as usual, the game starts, and I thought, right, you've best behaviour. You're a stranger in a strangish land, don't really know anybody. Had a beer. Possibly the worst cup final in living memory. Fair to say that? Yeah. Nothing happening, tumbleweed going by, whatever. But the pub was busy, and it was really interesting. So the pub was actually a nice pub, but in terms of just seeing a group of people there with Celtic tops on, different vintage ones, like the retro tops are out now, guys with Rangers tops, then groups of them all together watching the game. Right, so some of us from the likes of Glasgow might seem a bit strange, but that's how it was, and you could clearly see they're all pals. So anyway, first half was shite, nothing happening, and they scored, didn't they? And then half the pub was kind of but then you seen Joe Hart complaining, so then we're all going, oh. By that point, I'm on my third pint now, right?
What can I just confirm? What is Gaelic for? Whoa!
I say, hi Shabba. And we were, so then a couple of pints, it's like 2 or 3 pints, and then there's other people, you start talking to 1 or 2, and there's a few folk up to Glasgow as well. So where I'm coming to with this one, but gets to the moment where we've been dreadful, but Bernardo does well, has the shot, and then there's Idan following up and scoring. And that moment where you're a complete stranger 2 hours ago, and suddenly you're hugging complete strangers in a strange pub, jumping about, shouting, get it fucking up, yous, right? It's moments like that never leave you. And it was, to be fair, final whistle went, and as the guy said, it was actually quite interesting just seeing guys who were just clearly all pals and not just a wee group of them, pretty much the whole pub, shaking hands, aye, fucking get up, you right, would you want a beer? And they did. So it was, one, it was great, but two, it was a bit of an experience. So the Marine Bar in Mallaig, folks, well worth a wee visit if you're up there. It's right at the end of the train line, so you can't miss it.
Yeah, Monty, you may have noticed as much as I that Marine is an anagram of IRA men.
Who'd have thought?
Shocker, isn't it? Did you enjoy the cup final, Monty? What part of the world were you in on a scouting mission at that point?
No, that all scouting reports are all submitted now, Desi, and the signings should all kick in August. Watched it here in Armagh. Just watched it in the house. And then from there we went up because Armagh were actually playing at home to Westmeath in the championship. So it was great. Loved it. Nearly fucking jumped through my ceiling when Idan scored, but it was one of them weird games again that I think on our WhatsApp we were talking about them just dragging us down to their level and trying to beat us with experience. And it's just something that just keeps rolling around in my head, the way that Rodgers kind of kept talking about Rangers' style of football. And then it all kind of came to a fucking head in the cup final. They really, you can expect more of the same, I think, next season, Desi. But I loved it. Kind of typical Celtic way to win a cup and win a double, last minute winner. And for Idan, I think just phenomenal for him as an individual to be able to have done that. And who knows, maybe we'll get him permanently too, Desi, come the summer.
Can I ask you a question? Sorry, can I ask you two a question, right? But just so, because I will forget, the cup final, so we've won, right? So it's come from a point of we've won the game, but the point stands in my head. The Hampden pitch, is that the slowest pitch in professional football?
I have a theory on that, if you don't mind me saying. I don't think it. I know this is going to sound fucking daft, but then some of many daft things I've said here. I don't think it's the pitch. I've always thought that whatever way the angle is on the TV camera, whatever way the coverage is of Hampden Park when you watch it on the box, it looks infinitely slower than any other game you'll ever watch. And it doesn't matter who's playing on. I don't know what it is. I've always had it in my head. It's whatever angle the camera is pointing at that fucking pitch. I don't know. maybe not. But I've had that for years. Hector, I don't think it's the pitch. I genuinely don't. I think it's whatever way we're viewing it.
Right. I was going to say, right, I don't know if the listeners are aware, but you two guys have played at Celtic Park, right? I don't know if we've ever mentioned it on the podcast, probably once or twice at the most. But mine used to always be like the pre-cup final coverage, the teams arrive and they walk out and they walk about the pitch, and you used to just think, why are they doing that? And I mean, I used to think, like, why? Surely all pitches are the same. Not like when you're naive and you don't know all pitches are the same. And then when you see, like, say if you watch Ida's goal from behind the goal, the coverage, see the amount of like baubles and stuff that's kind of lying, like wee bumps, and you can clearly see the pitches in some state. And not me, just imagine it's like a bowling green, and it clearly is a fucking shambles.
But it doesn't
it'd been raining during the week before, and apparently they never bothered watering it, that kind of idea. But it's definitely, I don't know if the grass was long, but it looks terrible. And Hampden's been questionable for quite a while now, considering the number of games it's on it. It's shocking. And then the Lassies had to play their cup final the next day, the following day afterwards. I mean, so God knows what it was like for them, the Rangers and Hearts.
Just an observation. I just feel we go to our home games, and you see your away games, obviously, most away games on the telly. But whenever a game's at Hampden, it just seems to be that fraction. So the guys are zipping the ball about as they'd normally do in training or on a normal match day. So they're hitting the ball pretty much the same. It just seems to be that wee bit slower. Yeah. Just, I don't know how they cut it. It's just slightly longer. But it's just an observation. I think there's something. My head, I'm probably wrong.
No, and again, like the classic, somebody takes a shot and it flies 10 yards over the bar. The first thing they do is look at the ground. That way, and you always just assume he's at it. He's made an arse of that and he's at it. But then you start to see, when you see some close-ups of the actual pitches, you just assume they're lovely condition, but maybe that's not the case. You know what I mean?
Counter to that, Desi, if I can, Celtic Park towards the end of the season looked fantastic.
Yeah.
And I actually, watching the last couple of home games, thinking, fuck, the pitch looks immaculate. Where over the previous few seasons, it seemed to have took a battering. You know, even towards the end of the season, there was patches of it. It looked fucking immaculate. So maybe we're reaping the benefits of that. Remember, didn't they relay it 2 years ago?
Yeah, we relayed it. You just made me smile to myself, and I was about to laugh. Remember, Rodgers get the big investment in a new super duper 4D pitch, and it lasted something like 9 months. And it was
a fucking disease.
What you watering? It's artificial. No, that's all. It was a disaster. So I don't know if that will happen this pre-season or post-season. We're in that cut over from post-season into pre-season at the moment. Yeah. But again, the cup final day, because we talked about before we came on, what we talk about. But it was just to highlight the fact that Hector's Highland experience, and it is always nice when you're in, always nice to win. When you're in a strange pub and you don't win, it's a bit weird. You always feel as though you're creeping towards the exit. I mean, just try to get out the door before somebody says something that either annoys you or makes you turn round. But I had a lovely day in sunny Kings Park, sitting at the back, and then again, it's sort of like the suicide. It'll be at Celtic end, so it's just all Celtic fans. And everybody.
See where you stay, right? Obviously, I know where you stay in the Celtic end of Hampden's, literally just from the corner from you, right? So did you watch the full game in your back garden?
I had my telly. I've got a wee bit. I can put the telly in the back garden.
So the question is then, here's the thing. So you're watching the telly, Hampden's there.
Yeah.
Even when we score, did you hear a roar just before the goal on the TV?
It's really weird, right? Because where I stay, if anybody knows Kings Park, so you get Kings Park Avenue and it comes up the hill and then down and kind of plateaus. I stay just after the hill plateaus and all the sound bounces off the hill and reflects back. So we don't hear anything from Hampden. But if I walk round the corner, literally 50 yards to the right, then I could be like literally sitting at any concert. It's like any concert at Hampden. You just see everybody sitting on the top of the grass with their carry out, because it is literally like you're sitting right next to a speaker. It's unbelievable.
Okay.
So we don't get it. So you don't even get to like kind of it's a go idea. So that was nice. So that was it. So that was the double. Brendan delivered a double. Was it what you were expecting, Monty? Were you happy? And I know happy is a silly word, but given the way the season had went, any reflections on the actual season as a whole now that we'd wrapped up the double, we'd secured Europe, the whole 40 million, blah, 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 looking forward, a little bit of looking back before we look forward?
I genuinely put Celtic's success this season down to one man, Brendan Rodgers. I think this season has been an absolute triumph of his managerial abilities. When you look at everything that was stacked against him, and we went down the dark rabbit hole, and it's incredible too how you can get caught up in the moment, and then you realise what our points tally was at the end of the season, despite the club not giving him the tools to do his job in the first half of the season, and despite them still not fucking giving him the tools to do his job in January, until he finally got his way and got one or two players in that he wanted. It wasn't an enjoyable season, Desi. Yeah. You know, I think I can say that now in reflection. A lot of it felt turgid. A lot of it felt difficult. And we're going to talk about highlights this season. The biggest highlight for me was beating them, not beating them, beating the system, given how much the fucking blatant application of specific laws of VAR were applied to our detriment. And again, when you look at the stats and the guys that do it, it actually doesn't seem to have had such an effect as you felt at the time. So a real tough one, Desi, but fuck, enjoyable at the end, just to think we did it despite all that. And where we can go next, hopefully they start to fulfil the same potential that Rodgers showed the first time he was here, Desi. Hopefully they back him.
Yeah, right. So this time with you for a wee second, Monty, we've talked about culture, we've talked about change and resistance, blah, 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 quite a bit over the years. Do you think this transitional year, was a lot bigger a transition than we actually assumed it would be?
I do, for several reasons. The first one being the culture that Ange Postecoglou built was so popular among the players. You've got to back yourself coming into that. I think the second thing was, when Rodgers talks about the 2-year, 3-year cycle, there's obviously a lot of people who've been there for 2 or 3 years and maybe thinking, I've had no fear. This guy's a different kettle of fish. And I think the first signs of him starting to get people on board was when the Japanese players all signed extended contracts. Carter Vickers then committing. I think that's when the players had bought into what Rodgers was doing. That then, we talked about at the end, he did this brilliant interview, Desi, and I won't labour the point, but he did this interview where he talked about loads of things. Listen for the note that's out of tune.
Yeah.
Statement that doesn't fit the context. He talked about having so many distractions, not all of them football related. And he talked about, and I don't think he was talking about what was happening externally. I think he was talking about what was happening internally. And I think he's won that war, Desi. The club's his now. I think he's got more. He's got as much power as any manager has had since O'Neill. He's going to pick whoever's going to be a scouting department if he hasn't already. He's picking his backroom staff, and he's also picking players. I think the last manager we had that did that was O'Neill. So it's back to the future a little bit, Desi. I think culturally you can see the players really bought in, especially in that last month, 8 weeks of the season where they really got fucking out of the dagger. And you hear them now giving him platitudes at the end about how well he protected them and kept them positive and focused. I think it's just a triumph of management, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very, definitely. Interesting you quote Martin O'Neill, the power of Martin O'Neill, because let's not remember the famous head-to-head against Brian Quinn and we prepare for life in the slow lane. So all things must pass.
Our esteemed manager, remember the voicemail? Maybe our esteemed manager might wish to consider the expenditure for the coming season. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Over to you, Hector, and I want to focus first of all on Brendan's no being Brendan. You had that mantra, and by the end, Brendan was ultra Brendan.
Well, both of you have just kind of stole my thunder a bit, because I think Monty covered a lot of it, and you're bit at the end there, Desi.
Hector, sorry, just to be clear, this is a Brendan trifle. You can layer it and layer it and layer it. Don't worry.
Right. I'm going to start off with the negatives, right? Let's always finish that positive. So the negatives, the transfer window last summer was an absolute disaster. Plenty of money spent, best part of 20 million, and it was a disaster. I mean, the choice of player, not one bit of experience at all, so imbalanced. Players for positions that didn't fit the system. What I mean by that, centre backs with no pace, and we play a high line. I mean, fuck me, we're amateurs, right? We're amateurs, and we know this. It just, so many things were just wrong about it. Most so that there was the one bit of experience brought in, just to help us a wee bit. That was the first bit. There was kind of two other negatives for me, and they were both round about December, November, December, certainly December time. So it's when the horrific events obviously took place in Gaza, and Celtic supporters, as everyone knows, have been, majority of Celtic fans have been quite strong in their support of people in Palestine, and via waving flags at games or going to some of the marches in various cities across the land. It's when Celtic banned the Green Brigade. I just thought, you're fucking kidding me. I mean, and only our board, I think, could cause such division when it was unity that was needed. And doing that remarkably coincided with us being absolutely horrific in terms of drawing it home to Motherwell, losing away to Kilmarnock, then losing it home to Hearts 2-0 with no Green Brigade there. I mean, Green Brigade weren't there, and the boys, the other ultras who sit the opposite corner, they went out with them. They refused to attend in support of them. So for me, that was a real, that December period when there was no atmosphere, performances were rotten, with a lot of injuries, and it looked like a really bleak, it did for me anyway, a really bleak time. So that was the sort of main negatives for me. Turn it around a bit, positivity. The game against the Zombies, 5 games, 4 wins, 1 draw. And the draw was a 3-each game, which actually was possibly the pivotal league one towards the tail end of the season. I think that in itself just shows you the record that Rodgers has. I've seen a stat, and I can't remember the exact figures, but it's something ridiculous, Rodgers' record against them over his 2 spells in charge. So that was one. Obviously, the League One. We were doing our podcast, I would say, about February time, and we all worked out, we had the fat lady ready to sing. Let's be honest about it. I think we were due to go to Fir Park. It was a game where we were losing. Was it 1-0 at half time? We were appalling. He made the change at half time, brought on Idan on at half time for Kyogo. Idan scored 2, didn't he, to win the game. Again, another pivotal game. But we had word outs. Let's no say we didn't. Every one of us. So I think to win the league, then win it in the end, significantly by some margin. With all the best players were back, as we all touched upon several times, was just terrific. A terrific outcome of the season. Winning the double, obviously. Again, winning the league was good, but beating them in another final with a shit game, but that 90th minute winner was sensational. But there's probably a couple of things just to finish up. I mentioned Brendan there. Good point, Desi. I think the return of Brendan, the balls out Brendan, and he came back with all the pressure, I suppose. Listen, you've got to have big balls to come back after Ange, and especially how you left. You jumped to shut the last time, right? And he came back, all reserved, fairly quiet, well within himself. And it wasn't until Tynecastle when John Beaton intervened, when he came out and got tore into Beaton. And I think that was the point. I think when Brendan Rodgers became Brendan was just after that game. I'd be interested to see our results after that game. I think we went undefeated for the end till the end of the season, and maybe only drew 1, maybe 2 games. I'll go and double check that. But it became Brendan, and the Brendan, the fucking, as you say, all the layers, they came out, didn't they? 4 weeks before the end of the season, it was throwing wee lines, wasn't it? This is when Celtic come alive. And, we've laughed, and you can visualise Brendan all week in his big fucking castle at Mugdog Park, and his missus, right, how does this look? Look. And preparing for it, and she's going, fucking sit down, Brendan. Anyway, no, but listen, darling, look at this. So he kept ramping, turning the dial, didn't he? Every week. And there's Clement just fucking, like a big fish on a hook, isn't it? It was fantastic. And the final bit with Rodgers, and again, Monty touched upon it. I think with the transfer, there's been a disaster. The removal of Mark Law, I think, was it February after the windows had closed, and another one of the scouts. That was a significant change. And I think Rodgers is now fully in control. I don't mean in a daft sense that but in terms of controlling who the scouts are, controlling the picks of players, and the budgetary element of it as well. So I think for us, it's a big win. I wouldn't say it's a negative. I've heard some folks saying, yeah, but we've got a strategy of buying them young. That won't change. It's about a balance. It's having the balance about getting 1 or 2 of the best young players you can get and coaching and development, but also get 1 or 2 experienced players when they're needed. So I'm hoping that we'll see that this summer, and I actually think we'll be a lot better and a lot stronger next season. So there you go. Sorry, you did ask, Desi.
Yeah, you did. I'm gobsmacked. So basically, my takeaway from that there is you're saying John Beaton won the league. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying here?
Well, he called VAR in the cup final as well, didn't he?
John Beaton won us the league. That's a phrase I never thought I'd be saying in my life. And then as you were talking, also all I could picture is if anyone follows us on Twitter, you'll have seen me basically highlighting that everyone should follow the Big Dumb Film, the Big Dumb Movie Show, and Joe Heenan and Stuart Murphy. It's brilliant, but all I could picture there as you were talking there was Brendan Rodgers as Indiana Jones facing Clement with a sword, and Brendan just pulls out the gun. No, it's let's get this there. I can't be bothered with this. But again, it was like even now, Monty, you've highlighted the whole alpha male persona. Apparently, Clement's Billy Big Boys, so to speak, talking about the dressing room and doing the whole bench press and stuff. And even now, Rangers are putting out wee videos and shots of him in the gym. Here he is preparing for next season. No, as if that's a thing. As if, whereas Brendan Rodgers is at his villa in Santa Ponza, checking his emails now and again. Exactly, Monty's put there, like smoking cigars and drinking cocktails. Maybe checking his emails in the morning just to check to see anything happening with these kind of endeavours. But let's be honest, chances are we're not going to sign anybody significant until after the Euros. It's one of these summers. So
yeah.
And Rangers have already signed 3 superstars. You know what I mean? And we're obviously meant to panic. But as you 2 guys have alluded to, I think there's a lovely sense of calm now. Not like we've came through the storm. At the end of the whole walk on it, they were through the storm. Brendan's came through the storm are coming back. A lot of people, including myself, weren't too pleased that he did come back, but he's faced it, and he's faced it head on. And as you say, Hector, when things were rough, he was the guy that turned round. And like, interestingly, when you hear people like Matt O'Reilly and Callum McGregor speaking now, they talk about how it was Rodgers who was basically talking them through, like the last 12 weeks of the season. Kuhn came out. I know even your star players like O'Reilly and McGregor, your star players, Kuhn, who was indifferent at best, even he came out and says at that 3H game, when we saw Rangers celebrating and acting as if they won the league, that's when we suddenly stepped up. I mean, like that whole, he's quite like, let's walk away. We'll just stay, we're talking in the pitch, and as Hector alluded to also, then it was just a steamroller performance right to the end. Get it in the bag, and then laugh, and then have a week off. I mean, like Carter Vickers and Joe Hart and Wunderbar celebrating the week before the cup final. I'm surprised they were sober come the cup final, judging by that. I mean, like, but that sort of attitude of going, job's done, big job's done. We weren't, like, even at the cup final, we're saying we're desperate to win it, but we weren't that. I mean, it wasn't a do or die with us for Rangers. It probably would, because Clement now has to go to Celtic Park for his first Celtic Rangers game this season, and the pressure's on him. Rodgers will just be checking his time for his Santa Ponza holidays. So, I mean, so it's a lot. I think we're in a good position to be. But Hector, as you mentioned, we can't have another transfer window like that. Because this is your talking. I was looking through my shock of the season I'd written down was Mark Lawwell getting the sack. I did think somebody's head was going to have to roll, but I thought it would maybe be like a chief scout or somebody behind the scenes, or just a reorganisation. The fact that Peter's boy got the sack was really surprising. He didn't even get moved sideways, no like head of the pools or whatever. He just got out the door. And then my biggest sigh was the wingers as well as the centre-half signings. Not one of the centre-halves was good enough to challenge Scales. They didn't even challenge Scales. No, like they were always fourth, fifth and fifth behind. What do you call them? Welsh, behind Welsh, sorry. Right, and then the wingers, none of them. Like I was going through various games today. I've got a quiz coming up, and I noticed, and I swear to God, I get surprised, and I looked at a list of scorers in a game, and I saw the name Yang, and I went, "Who's that?" Right, I'd actually forgot the full name, and I went, "Oh, that's right," because he came, played 2 games well, and then just died again. I mean, that was the story of the wingers, bar James Forrest. But the most interesting thing about James Forrest, I noticed, going through the games today, he scored in the first game of the season, James Forrest. No, that way we all thought he was like a renaissance towards middle to the end of the season. He actually scored in the first game of the season, and I would have never remembered that. You know what I mean? And then my biggest surprise, so this one's for you, Monty. My biggest surprise I've written here was, Ida, there's a player in there.
Yeah, been a shock. There's no point in pretending otherwise. He hadn't really done a lot with Ireland, and Kenny liked him. Stephen Kenny, the former manager, really liked him and played him. Yeah, you can always say there was a player in there, but he just never showed glimpses of it. He's got the athleticism, he's got the attitude, he's got a decent amount of pace for that big lad, and he works. You know, he's got all the attributes, as Roger said. He's still raw. But I remember us talking after we signed him, and I think it was Hector asked the question, is he the answer? And my retort was, no, he's not. He's stopgap at best, but fuck me, what a turnaround is. I think part of it too is back to the coaching that he'll maybe get at Celtic, and that bit of confidence. And let's be honest, probably in half of the games, maybe a lesser standard that he'd put up against in the Championship. So he has an opportunity to score. He's an opportunity to be, kind of idolised by support. Whereas he said himself, again, another really interesting interview during the week, said anything went wrong at Norwich, he felt like he was the scapegoat. If he scored, it wasn't as good as the one he got the week before. If he missed it, he fucking always misses sitters. Sounds like a boy who's just had enough at where he was and he needed the move. And I suspect it'll be very difficult for him now, Desi, to go back and want to be part of Carrow Road. So he's ours, I think, if we can do a deal. But, open question, him versus Miovski. Who would you take?
Well, I think
both.
Yeah, well, that's again. Kyogo seems to be having a nice holiday. We'll find out what happens there. Again, if anything significant happens, we can jump back on. But limiting the conversation tonight, the one thing we can say is Idan certainly passes audition. And there's no many lone players like... They're already talking about signing Bernardo, and people are coming up with really good stats to prove that Bernardo is worth, say, 3.5-4 million. And that'd be happy enough if we signed Bernardo. But when it comes to players who came on loan and really passed the audition, he does by far away. I mean, that was... he did everything right. Held the ball up, scored the goals, fought for every ball. No, that way he showed none of the prima donna nonsense. None of the, let's say, other players well known coming from Norwich to Scottish football who believe it's just a case of putting on your Instagram posts. He never, none of that. You know what I mean? So he did.
There's also one thing to add there about Idan. You were talking and about the confidence thing, but this is an addition to this. Is that he came in and obviously started well, but the game at Tynecastle we spoke about, we lost 2-0. He missed a penalty to put us 1-0 up before Yang was red carded. So where I'm coming from with that could have been, from a confidence perspective, one that, you know, he really struggled to come back from. So even more credit to him that he actually didn't. He just dusted himself down, no doubt with Rodgers' coaching, because he touched upon Rodgers' coaching on 1-to-1 about positional play, about link-up play, about using his strength to turn his opponent. And it's just interesting. I think we just getting a good quality coaching about you getting those 1-to-1 sessions. It just gives you confidence, doesn't it? And we could all see that the last few weeks of the season when he was fantastic.
And just on that, Hector, something that got missed in the middle of all this was that Rodgers hired one of his coaches about a month after, I think maybe February, March. He brought one of his former coaches from Leicester up. It might even have been earlier. It might have been January. And all of a sudden, we looked like we were stretching the pitch that little bit more. Our wingers started to look that little bit more effective. And that pattern that we'd seen between O'Reilly and Kyogo, those give and go things, our forward play looked a wee bit more cohesive, I have to say. And I can't mind the guy's name. Fucking who was he? He joined us now. I'm going to look it up just as we're talking. But I think that coaching thing, remember we talked about the dead cat bounce of Harry Kewell going and how difficult that would be because of how popular he was, and he was a forwards coach. Rodgers appears to have brought a guy in to fill the gap, but not just to coach the forwards, but to coach his system and getting a bit more traction on it. But I think he also gave the credit for that to Kennedy. So there's a whole, talking about culture again, Desi, the whole ethos as to how Rodgers is managing the club and how he's empowering people, but he's also in control, is a very, very powerful statement. I'm just going to look up your man's name, just if you want to move on the point. I have to find it out for my own sanity.
I've got it. If I can find. I'm looking. How can it be so hard? Highlighting the work. Lines, some Jungle lines. I don't.
Could be. I just can't fucking remember. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely. I think it's some Lines, but I can't see a first name. Jack Lines.
That's him.
Jack Lines. I wrote in Jack as a really young talented coach.
Sorry, no, Adam Sadler. Adam Sadler.
Yeah, that's the other guy. Sorry, I'm looking at somebody else here, so I must be looking at an old one then. Sorry, I just typed in Brendan Rodgers brings coach from Leicester. That's fine. Adam Sandler. Yeah, but there's been a few. There's been quite a big shake up, isn't there? There's been quite a few come in recently, and even Johnny Hayes has been the assistant, I think, to Stephen McManus. Now that Darren O'Day's been moved into transition manager to try and.
Johnny Hayes apparently coming in there too, does he?
Yep. Is that not what they said?
Oh, sorry. Okay,
welcome to the time-delayed podcast, coming to you from yesterday tomorrow.
I don't know more about this Adam Sandler talking about.
Exactly, what's this, the water boy? Want to see Burn Stars, and what did you just say, boy? Right, okay, right, quiz time. We're going to go back to last season. Hector, do you want to go first?
Is that answer Johnny Hayes?
Sadly not. I'll give you a clue. None of them are Johnny Hayes. Do you want to go first or second?
First.
First. Okay. Which player unfurled the league flag last season?
I can't remember who we played in the first game of the season.
Ross County.
Fucking hell.
We played
That
Ross
doesn't
County.
help. What player? James Forrest.
Correct, James Forrest, well done. Actually got a point. Right, talking about Ross County, Monty, which singer sound-alike was sent off for Ross County against us? It basically was told to get up and get off. That's
Marty
a clue for
Pello.
you. Sorry?
Marty Pello.
Okay. Hector?
James Brown.
James Brown, nice. Hector, I'm watching a video and I've got Hector in a second delay, so it's quite weird actually. Let me just kind of hide his face. Right, Hector, we're back to you. Who scored in Celtic's first game and also in the last game of the season?
League game.
Yep, yeah, it's all about the league, mostly.
First and last. What's the Forest, was that?
No, is that your answer? I'm not like I did say Forest earlier. Is that your answer?
Kyogo.
No. Okay, Monty, there's a chance of a bonus. Who scored in the first game of the season and the last game of the season?
Lewis Palmer.
Correct. Well done, mate. Nice. There's a bonus still there. Right, Monty, over to you. What is the connection between these clubs? St Johnstone, Hearts, Motherwell, Kilmarnock. What's the connection in respect to last season?
Huns without Busford.
Sorry?
Huns without Busford?
No, sorry, I'll have to go to. I can go to Monty. I can go to Hector, or I can give you another chance.
Give another chance.
Haven't a clue.
Okay, Hector.
Haven't the foggiest, Desi.
St Johnstone, Hearts, Motherwell, Kilmarnock. They're all sides we lost home points to last season. All right, so Hector, over to you. What's next in this sequence in relation to last season? 1, 2, 3. What's next? In relationship to last season, what's next? And I'll give you a clue. You have mentioned something relative to it earlier. Any idea?
In a row.
What'd you say there? No, sadly not. Monty, any idea?
Haven't a clue.
Okay, if I was to tell you the next in the sequence would be 2, would that help? 1, 2, 3, 2. And then if you added in the Scottish Cup final, it would be 1.
The goals against the Zombies.
Well done. Correct. Okay, back to Monty. September saw 2 sending offs in back-to-back games. 2 sending offs for Celtic. Who was that against? 2 games in a row we had people sent off. Do you remember who it was against?
Fuck.
Remember the disastrous game we had more than one person sent off, I think.
Wasn't Kilmarnock, was it, Desi? No.
No, I said this is League and Europe. Sorry, I should have pointed that out.
Oh, fuck. Oh, right. Okay. Feyenoord would have been the European game.
Correct. And then we play someone else. I can give you a clue if you like.
Hearts, wasn't it?
You're almost there regards the person who gets sent off. When you say Hearts, you're almost there for the person who gets sent off for Celtic. Who did Hart get sent off against?
Oh, fuck, Livy.
Well done. Feyenoord and Livy. Okay, there's a bit of leeway there, Hector. I can see you getting a bit angry and losing easy point. Hector, easy for you. 1 week in November, we saw Celtic back-to-back games, 2-6-0 score lines. Against whom? There was 2-6-0 score lines and 2 games back-to-back. Against whom? Well, maybe even back-to-back, maybe 2 out of 3. I have to check my dates, but I think it might have been in November anyway. 1 week in November. I can give you a clue if you want it, Hector.
Aberdeen?
Yes, correct. Both teams start with A. And this also includes Europe.
I didn't score 6 goals in Europe.
I never said we did.
Oh, fuck. I did.
Correct.
Right.
I just said 2-6-0 scorelines.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, Monty, just a while stabbing the dark for this one. Don't worry. How many? Again, this also reflects back on people thinking it was a shite season. Celtic were very indifferent. Blah blah blah. Monty, how many times do you reckon Celtic scored three or more in overall games last season?
I'm going to say
How many times did they score three or more goals?
15, Desi.
Hector, any idea? This is just a punt.
And that's all games, Europe as well.
Yeah, all games, yeah. That includes the Aberdeen 3-3 Scottish Cup semi-final.
What did you say, 15? That sounds close. 17.
24.
Wow.
24 games, and probably a lot of them have been a lot in the running. So interesting. How many times, Hector, did we fail to score in a game last season?
Oh. 5.
Monty?
I'm going to say 4, Desi.
8. 8 times we failed to score. So that was a bit of a gripe by a lot of people complaining the comparison that we were failing to score. Okay, Monty, here's a good one for you. Do you want it easy or do you want it cryptic?
Oh, fuck, easy every time.
Okay. Which two players scored goals in the first minute last year?
Maeda?
Correct?
Abada?
Nope, but it starts with an A. Do you know who it is, Hector? He doesn't score that many from his position in defence. Against Ross County.
Alistair Johnson?
Correct. Well done. The big Canadian at home scored against. And we only won, and like, it's seeing you go through the games. We scored the first minute against Ross County and won 1-0. So that's one of the games you've just blanked right out of your head. No, that way as a no. Okay, right. So we've got another. This is the last one on Celtic last year, right? So the two of you can take this. What comes next, right? What comes next? 94, 95, 96, 97. What's next? What's next in that sequence? 94, 95, 96, 97. And I appreciate that for the listeners, you guys are just pausing just to let the listeners have a guess. You're not trying to scramble your brains or like Monty, look up Google.
He's a cheat, Desi. He's a cheat, by the way.
He just turned his camera off, just for anyone listening. Right, so what comes next? 94, 95, 96, 97. Any idea? I can give you a clue. 97 would be Matt O'Reilly, Motherwell.
All right.
Last minute goals. All right.
Yeah. So what's next? Matt O'Reilly had the second last goal. Second latest.
Did he score a goal in the 100th minute? 99th minute, 100th minute?
99 against Aberdeen. Who was it? Anybody remember who it was?
Oh.
Well done, Hector. Oh, it was. Yeah, see that game? I think there was 3 goals in the last 5 minutes. And
it was 3 goals at almost 90 minutes. And it was 10 minutes added time. We get 3 more, is that right?
Yeah, so there you go. So well done. So that was the end of season quiz, right? So well done there. I hope everyone enjoyed listening. We do have a few Euro quiz questions coming up towards the end, right? But as we segue into the Euros, I think Celtic's not had any transfer news at all at the moment, so there's nothing really to worry about. Hector, you've already alluded to this, I saw on Twitter, etc. Why is a ratio of 12-3 significant when it comes to players at the Euros? This is us going from Celtic into the Euros, so that's a wee kind of clue. Why is a ratio of 12-3 significant when it comes to players at the Euros?
12-3. 12-3.
No 2, just 12-3, that's the ratio. So if I was to tell you the 3 involved, Giannis Hadji, Ryan Jack and Ross McCrory, who would the 12 be?
Oh, Celtic players.
That's it. Players who have either played for Celtic or currently play at Celtic.
Ah, right. Okay.
So who would be who can you name? Just off the top of your head. Don't worry about it. It's not a quiz question.
So the Celtic ones just now. There's four, isn't there? There's Calmack, there's Ralston, there's Greg Taylor, and there's James Forrest, who are in the squad.
Mm.
You've got Kieran Tierney,
Yep.
used to be with us. Jack Henry,
Yep.
used to be with us as 6. Stuart Armstrong,
Yep.
Ryan Christie,
Correct.
Andy Robertson. Does he count?
No, he didn't. It's only the 50 have played, because I did that with Rangers too. Like Billy Gilmore had never played a game for Rangers first team, so they have to have played for the first team.
Van Dijk.
Yep, Van Dijk's there. And our favourite player in the whole wide world, bar Maeda. Come on. The man who makes you smile every time you see him, Hector.
Is
he Swedish?
Oh my days, I can't believe.
I didn't know, right? Right, okay. It's a weird one, him, because I don't really think of him as a Dutch player. It sounds daft. Frimpers. There's no England players. Who's the other ones? Must be Scandinavians. Think.
No. There's one that had a famous Celtic song, and then he left to go to Germany.
Oh, Bayata.
Nope. He's a left back. Fireball.
Oh,
Juranovic, right back.
Juranovic. Right, so if you want to get, I'll give you an easy clue. He's a big hun.
Fuck.
He was brought off a hun.
The wee winger guy for St Mirren signed.
That's it.
Lewis.
Yep.
Lewis fucking something.
Come on, the crowd are shouting out their name. The 4 listeners are shouting out his name.
Lewis. Fucking
Dig deep.
stuff.
You probably drunk a bottle of it spiced rum in your time.
Morgan.
Well done. If we tie it in the alcohol,
I didn't stab it. Just out of like
when it goes in a cocktail. You got
I was
Fireball.
going to say Kraken.
Do you notice that? You get Fireball and Morgan spiced rum.
Right.
So that's us. So we're at the Euros now. Expectations wise, Hector, any expectations? Or are you just glad that we're at the party?
No, fuck that, pish. No. We're not glad just to be any old party. Right. So they've opened up this year, isn't it? So it's no longer just the top 2 go through. It's the 4 of the third best.
Yeah, the balls are up, the usual.
You know what I mean, anyway, right? So we playing Germany in Germany first game. Let's be honest with it, they should win. For us, if we get anything at all from that'd be a massive bonus. It's the 2 games after that, isn't it? Switzerland and Hungary. 1 victory gives us a chance of getting through. 4 points means you're in. I think we can do it. The only frustrating thing, I think the boy Aaron Hickey's a tremendous player, a big miss for us at right back. The boy's an absolute quality player, and we seem to lack a bit up front as well. So our midfield's, I think, outstanding. Group of midfield players we've got. We've got 2,000 left backs, which is great. Che Adams is kind of on his own up front there, so we lack a wee bit. But I think can we get through? Yes, I think we can. And I think Steve Clark is a very good coach at setting up a team, as he's showing. Maybe not the most exciting football, but he can make us really hard to beat. And I also think he'll go on the counter-attack. So I think we can do it, Desi. I'm going to go for Scotland to get
3rd place.
4 points.
A glorious second.
We're going to draw with the Swiss and pump the Huns in the last game.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I did think the same, but then the usual Scottish luck, for want of a better word, I saw us going out in goal difference, the usual nonsense. I'm just looking at it. We talked about this before, and I'd mentioned that Hungary apparently went unbeaten during their group, but I noticed they're playing Lithuania, Serbia, to be fair, no bad, Bulgaria, Montenegro, Turkey, if it looks like, Kosovo. So Monty, they recently played Ireland. I know it was just a warm-up game, but did you see anything from Hungary that you think, either they're not that good or maybe they are better than they appeared against Ireland. Ida, I think, scored against them.
I don't think they were tuned in for the Ireland game. I think they'd either been on the piss the night before, they were just using it to get up to speed. From a physicality point of view, Desi, they were poor, slow in possession. They tried to press and didn't really do. They were just so off it. It looked like a pre-season game and like an early pre-season game, Desi. So I wouldn't be too worried about Hungary. Not at all.
Yeah. Just a thing, Desi. Just a thing. Just so you were talking there, and for our one listener who maybe left Scotland 40 years ago, but there's definitely Scotland got to go to the World Cup in France '98, and obviously with the last one, Euros, when it was kind of during COVID time, and Scotland hosted a couple of games, but it wasn't the same. But there's definitely been, we're old enough to remember, there's definitely a sea change, I think, in terms of certainly Celtic supporters now, the younger generation, who I think are far more in favour of the national team compared to when we were young guys and we were late teens. I think it's a good thing to see. I think there's a lot of them maybe go to the games, they're away to Germany just now. So I think it's something that's really good to see, a generational thing. And while there's far more Celtic fans, there's a lot less of the other side that don't go anymore. So it's incredible how the last 20 years has sort of changed, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, that's an excellent point, because it used to be that Scotland were viewed as like an establishment picked by the Blazers. The Lisbon Lions were ignored, and that rolled over for a good 30. Like, again, Scotland, people seem to have really long memories that passed down the generations. So people always did view the Scottish team as a Rangers kind of select. I ignore that kind of idea. And as you say, but now with the whole unionism and kind of the way things have evolved, like you've got all these people posting videos about how I won't be supporting Scotland, I will be supporting England, blah, blah, blah. I hate the SNP. Nothing to do with football, they're just putting up these unionist videos idea. And again, as you say, people are buying into it. Like I was on the train today and there was loads of folk clearly gone to Germany, a couple of folk with their kilts and their Scottish tops, seen quite a lot of folk in through Central Station tonight. A couple of young kids, again, with Scotland tops on. I mean, so it's really nice to see. But again, it was always weird for me, because as you say, I'm literally 5 minutes from Hampden. I was brought up in Torrey Glen, which is right next to Hampden. So we'd always went to Scotland, because used to be able to get a lift into Scotland games. So I'd always been at all the. So it was always a thing for me. So I never ever understood, when I get a bit older, all the kind of resentment against Scotland. I never really understood it, because it's always just been that's your national team. You know what I mean? So, but weird. And I used to go and live with my family down in England during the summer holidays. So you had that wee rivalry, the home internationals and stuff. So that was always good, and that was always kind of quite proud and glad to support the Scottish team. So I never understood that as I got older.
But it's definitely a big sea change.
Definitely, yeah.
I was kind of getting it, and even going to work. I'm in the office a couple of days a week now, and just in general, it's just refreshing, I suppose, is what I'm trying to get, rather than the bubble of social media when you know what it's like. It's like somebody says fucking red, somebody else say yellow, kind of thing. The complete opposite, just to cause an argument. But it's refreshing, it's good, and I genuinely hope they do well. 4 Celtic players there. And it's interesting, my youngest, he's 18, and their generation, they're getting to see their national, and they're all excited. And I think that starts to rub off in old farts like people like me. So I hope they do really well. If they get against Germany, it'll be a miracle. But who knows?
Yeah, I will be surprised. Right, so I've got a few quiz questions. I'll just keep flinging them in as we go along. Monty, I'll start with you. Right, S stands for Scotland. What S links Steve Clarke and Bobby Lennox?
I have no clue.
Saltcoats.
Saltcoats, well done. Yes, that's where happy-go-lucky Mr. Clarke is from sunny Saltcoats, as well as Bobby Lennox. Okay, one for you, Hector. Where did Scotland play their first ever Euro finals game? You can give me a country.
Euro finals.
Yeah, Euro finals. The finals, no qualifiers, the finals.
Sweden.
Yeah, well done. Do you know the city?
Stockholm.
Gothenburg. But well done. So, and again, this is a bit kind of favoured towards you. I can only apologise that Ireland never made it, Monty. I would have gave you questions. But Let me see. One that Monty I might like, but we'll stick with you, Hector, now while Monty's in it. Well, Monty's back. Right, Monty, here's one.
He's having a domestic, Desi. Leave him.
Yeah, we can see that. He's turned his video off again. Right, Monty, one for you. Who scored Scotland's first ever Euros goal? McAllister, McCall, McStay.
I'd love to say McStay because I know he did score. Did he? I'm going to guess McStay.
Well done, correct. Paul McStay, well done. Okay, how many Euro finals, Hector, have Scotland made, including this one? I can give you options.
Yeah, that one in Sweden. Did we played England in '96, didn't we? They hosted it in Euro '96. It was 2. This one's 3. The last one was 4. 4?
Correct. Well done. Didn't even need the options. That's very impressive. Right. Let me see. Right. Okay. Monty, I'll go to the millionaire round, Monty. I want an order here. Right. Order these players by youngest to oldest. Right. Shea Adams, Ryan Christie, Jack Hendry, Lawrence Shankland. Who do you think's the youngest? Who are Shea Adams, Ryan Christie, Jack Hendry, Lawrence Shankland?
Adams, I think, is the youngest.
Correct. Who'd be the next youngest? Christie, Hendry, Shankland.
I think Christie's younger than Hendry. I'm going to swap that around. Hendry, then Christie, then Shankland.
So you think Hendry is Adams, then Hendry?
Jay Adams, then I think Jack Hendry, then Ryan Christie, then.
Okay,
Shankland.
chance to steal, Hector. Who do you think's next after Shea Adams? Christie, Hendry, Shankland.
I would say Jack Baresi would be next.
Sadly not. No, that's what he said. You're not even listening. So order by youngest to oldest. Shea Adams, Lawrence Shankland, Jack Hendry, and then Ryan Christie.
I'm watching Nature Watch here on the telly. I'm watching Nature Watch. It's in
so
Scotland.
that's what you get. That's it. Right, okay, right. Here's a good one for you then, Hector. Which manager took Scotland to its first Euros?
Wasn't he? No, hold on. Let me try and think. So, if Euros, the first one was Sweden. That was 92. So, we go to the World Cup 1990, didn't we, in Italy? And that was Roxburgh. So, it's either Roxburgh or Craig Brown.
Want the options? Do you want the options?
Brown.
I'm getting your options.
No.
Do you want the options?
No. Craig Brown.
Do you want the options?
No.
Okay, who are you saying?
Johnny Hayes.
Who are you saying?
Craig Brown.
Okay, your options were Craig Brown, Alex Ferguson, Andy Roxburgh. And the answer was, Monty?
Alex Ferguson.
Andy Roxburgh. So well done. Unlucky. You were circling the edge there. Unlucky, Hector.
At the post.
Right, an easy one for you then, Monty. Who beat England in the last finals final?
Italy.
Well done. Easy one for you. Right, a really stinker for you now, Hector, to complete the quiz. A stinker. You ready?
Right, yeah.
What was officially named Uniforia? Uniforia. Uniforia at the last Euros. The anthem, the ball, the mascot. Uniforia. And again, I appreciate you pausing to let the listeners have a guess. Monty, you can type it in quickly. You can ask.
Wait, that's the whole fucking answer. This great.
It doesn't sound like a name of football, right? Which means it probably is. So I'll go for the anthem.
The anthem, the ball, or the mascot you're going for?
The anthem.
Okay, Monty, what would you choose?
If he hadn't already picked the anthem, I'd have picked the anthem. But I'm gonna go with the mascot.
I'm sorry, it was, of course, the match ball was called Uniforia. You were close there, Hector. Right, so the Euros. So thanks for playing the quiz, and I hope everyone enjoyed that at home. I do have a music round that I'll add on to the end of today's podcast that everybody can play and hopefully guess the answers. But while we're here, the Euros, Monty, what's your prediction? What do you think? Is football coming home yet again, even though it's a different tournament altogether?
I think Portugal will do it this time. I think Portugal's attacking quality is of a sufficient level now. Combined with they've got really strong midfielders, and they're not the tiny tots diving team that they've always been. They always struggle with that sort of stupid fucking thing like that guy Silva is. I think Portugal are just strongest Desi squad wise, although the French are hard to look past. But I'm going to go with Portugal.
Yeah, it's very interesting because I hadn't even bothered researching it much, and then I started to note, like the other day I just started having a look, and it was like somebody noted Spain. You just assume Spain are still in transition. Spain are like the top ranked team in Europe. They won the Nations League A. Remember England get demoted. So not like me things like that just go under the radar. You don't even notice. Like even silly things like Hungary unbeaten. I mean, just I think the actual level of player at this tournament. You've got your Mbappes. You've got your even Ronaldo scoring a couple the other night. A lot of Kane things to prove. Hector, are you looking forward to a football spectacular? And what's your predictions? What do you think? Who will Scotland face in the final?
I think we'll play France in the final, Desi. I think France have just got all areas of their team are strong. England are interesting because England's midfield and attack are outstanding. Absolutely lights out, brilliant. But their problem is their keeper and their centre halves, and their manager's a bit risk averse. I think he's a good guy. He comes across a really good guy, a good man, Southgate, but he's quite risk averse. I think that's because he wants to protect his defence. He plays that extra holding midfielder to protect them, which I kind of get. But if you let the shackles off with them, they could be a serious threat. But I don't think they will. So France and I mean Germany being the host, the new manager's coming in. Who recent months turned it around a wee bit, so you can never write them off, can you? So France for me. France, Scotland final, Scotland to win 3-1 with a Callum McGregor hat-trick.
Lovely. Yeah, I was really like England, the luxury of being able to leave out players like your Jack Grealish, because again, it's like a case of do you take players that can win the game, or as you kind of touched on there, do you take players that will only lose you the game? That sort of thing. And looking at their midfielder, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Jude Bellingham, who I still believe is getting set up to be the scapegoat. And again, I think they get beat with Iceland, and every paper went with a picture of, I think it was Saka, even though he'd only been on the pitch for 20 minutes. These sort of things. Conor Gallagher, Kobe Mano, Declan Rice, Adam Wharton. I don't even know Adam Wharton. Is he a star at Crystal Palace? Apologies for anyone who's listening.
I don't know.
20-year-old that they signed from Blackburn in January for 18 million. So. I
thought that was quite interesting. But as Hector, you allude to, it's things like your Kieran Trippier, and Kyle Walker. Yeah, they were great players, but they're on the Tavernier transition. I mean, they're all going towards the end of their career. Lots of wee injuries, that kind of thing. John Stones could be the next Harry Maguire. But to be fair to Southgate, having the balls to drop Maguire, that was a surprise to me. I thought he would have went. And then Luke Shaw, they think he's going to play a right back playing left back or whatever it is. So it'll be interesting. My money's on Germany, but I think they've already had a bust up. They've already had a big fight in their training ground. So that didn't. And apparently, a lot of players and a lot of German media are annoyed that he's gone with Neuer in goal, because apparently they wanted the Barcelona keeper. So good chances of that will blow up.
Is that because they've factored in when they've now factored in that James Forrest is playing for Scotland?
Well,
clearly, a little bit of the fear, Desi, in the German camp.
Well, that's in the John McGinn factor. I mean, because they watched John McGinn do the Bavarian dancing when Scotland arrived at the camp and thought that guy's movements off the charts. You know what I mean? So yeah, so it'll be interesting. So fingers again, but let's all just hope football's the winner. You know what I mean?
And England don't win it.
And England don't win it. Oh, that's the caveat. And even if they get good in their penalty shootout, that would be lovely. But interesting too. I know we don't want to talk about England, but Ten Hag has just been confirmed as the Man United manager for next season. So the rumours are going for Southgate is now out the window. So does Southgate then play it safe and no chance of anything, just so he has a unlucky exit at the quarters of the semis, but gets another 4-year deal just to roll on as England manager? Because everyone assumed he was maybe going to jump ship after this and take a nice job like the Man United job. Know what I mean?
Couple of wee Celtic things for you, Desi, just for me to wrap up.
Yep.
Just in terms of in and about the stadium. You'll be pleased to know that one of the priorities with the Celtic board is to get new boardroom seats.
Lovely.
So they're getting put in advance of next season. So that whoever's there, the great and the good, will be even comfier. Second thing is there's new dress rooms being built at Celtic Park over the summer months. So don't know where they're going to fucking build them, but apparently they are. And last but not least, there's a big net.
Ryan Christie
for the net, yes, is going in. And it's going in for the specific game against the Zombies. So obviously one of the things about allowing the away fans back in is was it 2,500 or 3,000? They're putting up the relevant infrastructure with the nets so when we play them, it stops them throwing photographs of King Billy when they come to Celtic.
Yeah, well, it'll be so nice to have them back, won't it? That's something to look forward to. Yeah, so basically you're telling us all of these infrastructure costs will impact our transfer budget. That's basically what you're telling us, isn't it?
I'm not saying that, Mr. Law, but you are.
Yeah, well, again, if Jeremy Frimpong has a very good tournament and somebody buys him for 34 million euros, his escape clause, then that could be another 10 million euros heading towards Celtic. So that would be nice to go towards our transfer kitty. But again, like the last time, talking about Martin O'Neill, bringing it full circle. Remember we were signing Valhalla, etc. Was that the World Cup we signed Valhalla from? Remember back in the days? So somebody may shine for a Hungary or a Serbia or whatever at these games that we end up actually finding a gem for a couple of million, touch wood. But hopefully the next time we chat, we'll have a few more centre halves. A few more centre halves will probably left. Let's be honest. I think we're also looking at midfielders, and then Adam, Ida, Bojan Majowski question will be answered one way or the other. And we can only wait and see. Right, so to bring it full circle from where we were last year, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, but I did predict that Ange would not be here for the third season. I don't know if you remember me mentioning it. Do we think this time next year we'll be confident Brendan will be looking forward to the third season? You're allowed to answer.
Yes.
Yes.
I think yes, and this isn't this. There's no heartstrings with this. Like we'd mentioned with him leaving the last time, and then Anne's doing it. We've all, I think, changed our thinking as well now, where we just think of the managers like players now. You don't get too attached to it. I think yes, it's part of the reason why he came back. I think his legacy. I think Monty articulated this really well in previous podcasts. I think his legacy is he didn't realise. I think how negative the reaction would be to him and his family once he left is the lurch is a bit strong the last time. So I think he's came back. I think he'll do the 3 years. That's what he signed up to. Yep. So I think he'll do the 3 years. I don't feel like he'll do any more than that, but I think he'll certainly do the 3 years.
Yeah. What about you, Monty?
Yeah, 3 years. I think a 3-year project, there's a possibility all goes well if he can put us onto the European map. I mean, let's face it, the goal is Champions League qualification for an extended 8 games, possibly 10. And that's probably going to be the ceiling that we can make. We might come out of it into a last 16, maybe. And if he could get us to that over the next 2 years, he can't really take the club any further. But with the priority being Champions League and playing these extra games in Europe, it might fulfill him. He might stay. But I can't see him leaving, Desi. Certainly not before the end of his 3.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Again, I think maybe a treble this year, and then, as you say, like a bit of progress in Europe and a bit of quality increase in the team. Maybe like keep them interested, and then by that time, 2 years down the line, 2 summers, it might be ready for him to take the England job, because he was always touted as on the FA's top of the FA's list before Southgate got it. So I could see him being right in front of the cameras for England. So that would be fingers crossed.
And then the door opens really nicely for Ange to come back for 2 years again, 3 years again.
Well,
there's a method in this madness, isn't there? Two of them over the next 10 years.
Oh no, by then it'll be Chris Davies' time, because he'll have done a couple of years at Birmingham. He's away to Birmingham now. He's left Ange to go to Birmingham. He's the manager of Birmingham now. So that'll be him. He can blood his nose there, and then he can maybe become the next manager at Celtic. So everything's falling into place. You know what I mean? So that's us. So I am looking forward to, I don't know what you guys are doing, but I've only got 4 weeks or 5 weeks to my big game in Washington. So I'm looking forward to catching up with the Washington CSC and the Philly boys and the Jack Dempsey Fenian boys. There's quite a lot of folk congregating in Washington, D.C. So if anyone's listening, hopefully I'll catch up with you there. And then we've got the pre-season games to look forward to. And then we can really look forward to the season as it kicks in as we head towards August. All right, so I am going to leave tonight's Euro special with a quiz and basically give you a clue. The answers all roll up into the word Mbappe songs, right? So it's 11 songs. Just take the initials and it should spell out Mbappe songs, right? So that's it. So good luck with that. I won't give you the answers. It should be quite straightforward. It should be fairly easy. They're all related a little bit to Scotland or the Euros, so it should be straightforward. All right, folks. Thanks very much for listening. It's just left for me to say thank you to Hector Bandido. Thank you, Hector.
Thanks, Desi. Thanks, Monty. Cheers.
Thank you. And, of course, thank you, Monty. See, Monty C. Burns, what could the C stand for? Cocktails in the summertime, perhaps?
Fucking C now. Like, I've been thinking Johnny Hayes hadn't been mentioned.
Well, it's got to be cunt. It's got to be cunt, hasn't it?
We never actually got an El Cunto award for the summer, but we'll come back to that very soon, I'm sure. All right, folks. So again, thank you to everyone who has listened to us rambling on this season. Look forward to doing the same again next season. Unless something significant happens one way or the other, it's doubtful we'll be back before the end of July / near August. But everyone have a great summer. Really enjoy. Hope everyone enjoys the Euros. Best of luck to all the Celtic-related players. And we look forward to coming back next season. All right, folks, my name's Desi. Good night.
Now, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Let me tell you that I love you, and that I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, and now I'm going home. And if I should become a stranger, you know that it will make me more than sad. Caledonia, you're the best friend I've ever had.
I That's all, folks.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.